To cut your t-shirts, you need a set of cutting templates. You can either purchase the templates directly from Too Cool T-shirt quilts, or you can make them yourself. To make your own cutting templates, you will need plexiglass that you can get at a hardware store. You'll need a box cutter with a new blade. You'll need a set of spring clamps, and you'll need a straight edge. To cut your own templates, you need to get the step-by-step cutting directions that are in your folder that accompanied these videos. To cut your plexiglass, take your straight rule and put your plexiglass underneath there. You'll have your straight rule clamped down with spring clamps. The stronger they are, the better hold you'll have. Next, take your box cutter, extend your blade, and you're going to score your plexiglass a number of times. Next, take your plexiglass and move it to the edge of your table where you have a nice straight edge. That's how you cut your plexiglass. Remember that your templates are actually the cutting size and not the final size. So a 16 by 16 inch block actually has a template that's 16 1/2 by 16 1/2. There's a 1/4 inch seam allowance around the entire outside of your template. That's what's in pink. And the inside of the template, that is your 16 by 16. First, let's talk a little bit about rotary cutter safety. When you're doing t-shirt quilts, your blade's going to get dull very quickly. So you need to make sure you change your blade before every new quilt. A new blade is great because if you do cut yourself, it'll be a sharper, cleaner cut. So change your blade before you begin your quilt. Rotary Cutting Safety 101. Every time you're finished using your rotary cutter, shut the blade before you put it down onto your table. This will keep you from getting cut, somebody else from getting cut. If you drop it on the floor, you won't ruin your blade. Before you start cutting your t-shirts, I would suggest that you stop and practice on an old t-shirt that does not mean anything. So if you ruin it, no big deal. When you're cutting t-shirts, you need 2 different cutting mats. One mat will protect your work surface, and the other mat will be used inside the t-shirt. Your first step is to take your t-shirt and insert your rotary cutting board inside your t-shirt. We put the rotary cutting mat inside the t-shirt so you can cut the front, and then if there's something on the back, you won't have cut through it. After you have your shirt on the mat, your next step is to grab a template. You can grab your first template, see if it works. You can grab a different size template and put it over the other template to see if that works. You need to have a margin around your design. So you don't want to cut too tight or cut too loose. So play with your templates and find which one will work for this design the best. So on this design, I'm going to use a template that is 12 inches wide, 16 inches long. I'm going to set it on top of the design. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to feel along the edge of the t-shirt and make sure that the mat is underneath the template the whole way. Next, grab your rotary cutter, open your blade, and then you're going to line your rotary cutter up with your template. You don't want to start behind the template because if you do, you could go forward and you could crunch your rotary cutter on the template. You want to start in and then work your way back a little bit. So again, you go in and then work your way back, but your blade is still forward of your cutting template. Then you push down and you cut. And you do the same thing here. Now you can either walk around your table or you can pick up your work and gently turn it around. And then you continue cutting. After you're done cutting, put your rotary cutter down, and then I move the shirt away from the template to make sure that I've cut all around it. Every once in a while, you'll have a nick in your blade, and this will stay attached. This way you know that you have everything cut perfectly. Put your template away, and then you have your block. You flip your shirt over and see if there's anything on the back of your shirt. On the back of this shirt, there's nothing. So I can go on to my next shirt. Continue cutting your t-shirts and stacking them up until you're all finished. Sometimes you're going to find yourself having a ton of 12 by 12 blocks. They're probably the most common size. And if you find yourself getting a huge pile of 12 by 12s and hardly any other block size, you need to stop cutting 12 by 12s and cut some of these blocks to be 12 by 16s or 16 by 12s. A little bit of extra margin on the side is just fine. It'll make your design more interesting and the quilt will be a lot nicer. For example, you have 16 by 12s. You have a pile of 12 by 16s. They're not the same thing. 12 wide, 16 down. 16 wide, 12 down. You can't count them as the same thing. They're the same size, but they're not the same size. This might sound easy and straightforward, but all the shirts in your stack are not going to be this easy. So in our next video, we'll look at a number of different techniques you can use for t-shirts that are not standard.